Clinic walls. There she go. All right. How's it going, everybody? We'll get started shortly. Getting Constance, Dr. Constance, involved. Getting her online now.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hey, hey.
How's
How's it
it
going?
going? I'm doing good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. How's everything so far this year for you?
I mean, for day two, it's doing pretty good.
Day two? Okay. Yeah, I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm right there with you. Some of us may be struggling a little bit already. Others may have just fallen off the slope
But
already.
it's,
And
it's too early to be negative. So,
I,
we got to
I'm,
stay positive.
you know, I,
But yeah, I see
I agree.
people in the chat. Hey, Miss
I totally
Latrina.
agree. Yeah, we got some
How was your
some
Christmas?
people showing up. Oh man, Christmas was good. Actually spent it here, in Virginia with my family, with my wife. It was our first Christmas, together as a married couple, so very special in that sense. We had a good time. Had a good time.
That's
And it was also I'm a new uncle too, so it was my nephew's
very,
birthday. So
very.
my wife's sister
Oh,
and her husband, they celebrated their their child's birthday in Jalen. So he's one, and it was a good time. So yeah,
yeah, that's nice.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I had already talked to you about it, but I was also in Virginia, but I was, basking in relaxation, so I didn't make it to to visit with you, but
Yeah,
hopefully
no,
next
it's fine.
time for sure.
Yeah, next time. That way we could hang out at Great Wolf Lodge or whatever. Just
Yes, or you
definitely
can
could.
fill an escape room with me.
Yes, the
Y'all
escape room. I
escape
think
rooms
I
are
love
great
escape
family
rooms.
bonding.
I haven't done an escape room in a while. Last time I
Me
did an
too.
escape room was actually back in Wilmington. So, and I definitely, I think the last one we did was a fail. So
It's
I'm not even
hard,
going to
but
lie.
it's still
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, it is. It
Yeah,
is. So
I think thank
get
you,
the
the
mind going.
decorator 346. Thanks for coming in. I guess, we can work on getting started. So, Cliff and I are both blossoming entrepreneurs, doing our best to help keep people healthy. And
Yes.
we both thought that this would be a perfect topic because I think we agree. Do you agree that New Year's resolutions aren't the best?
They they're iffy. Always they're always iffy.
Hey, lady.
I think that sometimes I've decided like, okay, I'm just going to give up on these New Year's resolutions, and I'm gonna just focus on me, focus on on just becoming better and stronger in discipline. And that's some of the things I know that we'll probably end up talking about later on today, and just hitting some points along those lines. So
Yeah. Yeah, so, and certainly those of you watching, please let us know if you have questions, if things resonate with you. Uh, do so now by putting a heart in the comments if you're tuned in, locked in, ready to hear our perspective on why New Year's resolutions suck. And maybe some of y'all already feel like New Year's resolutions suck. If you do, put a thumbs up for that.
mm,
Because it's challenging, it's hard out here, but we're both working in this space. So I saw some hearts go up. So y'all are following. Thank you, thank you. And I would say my first reason, you'll have to tell me how you feel, Cliff, why New Year's resolutions suck is they often come from a place of guilt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people feel guilty about behaviors that they may or may not be participating in. So because this is common, right? Our eating habits. So you have fun Thanksgiving, you have fun Christmas, and then New Year's Eve you pop a couple bottles of champagne, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then the new year comes and you're like, "Oh, I did too much. I ate too much. This isn't good because, the summer is going to be here before you know it, and I'm going to have another year that I'm not in the body that I want to be in." And so you start off your goal with a negative perception of yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
the truth is that motivation that's long lasting is going to come from a place of positivity. It's going to come from a place of wanting to better yourself and not focusing on the negative aspects of who you are, because there's always a way to frame that. And Miss Valtrina agrees, right? It's definitely a challenge. But also, when you're internally motivated, that's more helpful as well. Because how many times do we say you want to do it for someone else or to achieve something
Yeah.
else when you're not
Yeah.
focusing on what you can accomplish as an individual? So if we're taking that same weight management conversation into effect, you want to lose weight to fit an outfit versus I want to lose weight to improve my blood pressure or to
Yeah.
better walk upstairs or to have more stamina.
Yeah.
That is a more long lasting positive perception versus I don't like the way I look in a swimsuit,
For
so I
sure.
want to change that, versus I want to be confident and healthy while I'm walking on the
Yeah.
beach. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because you can do that no matter what size you are, people. Let's put that out there also. You can find confidence and health no matter what size you are. So if you're putting yourself down from the beginning, that New Year resolution is destined to fail.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, so I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. I think that you mentioned motivation. I tell my clients all the time, motivation is very short term. Motivation, like I get motivated. I have so many different movies and TV shows or music that I listen to get motivated. The thing is, that album is going to end. That song is going to end. That movie is going to end. I could watch Rocky 4 3 times. Each time it comes to an ending, right? In the same way, the same goes with our motivation. Like we get motivated at the end of the year, right? And we're like, okay, I'm gonna start doing X, Y, Z. I'm gonna start exercising. I'm gonna start working out. I'm gonna lose weight this time. I'm gonna do all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end of the day, we don't do it. We run out of steam. And the reason being is because, like you mentioned, it's the internal component. And that's what I tell my clients all the time is I don't want you to be motivated. I want you to be driven, right? Because because drive is what's going to get you from point A to point B and
Yeah.
then all the way to point Z, right? It's if you think of there's an illustration that I came across most recently of a match. It was two
Mm-hmm.
matches. Motivation was the match lit there was a fire that lit the match
Uh-huh.
on fire, and it was a quick spark. And then drive was a match, and it was consistent. It stayed on. The light stayed on. It faded away a little bit, but it came
Yeah.
right back.
Yeah.
Faded away a little bit, it came right back, but it never went out. Where motivation, it was here and it was gone, right? So we want to be motivated, but the thing is, when we're motivated, we lose it real quick. When we're driven, it's going to be here, it's going to come down, it's going to be in the middle. We have all these different levels, but the game plan is to stay consistent. So
And
the point that
I really like that, and I don't want to steal your thunder, but I got to get it out because when you talk about motivation versus drive, I think it's very nuanced,
Mm.
right? Because some people might say, well, isn't that basically the same thing? But then you use your fire analogy,
Yeah,
right? Motivation is what ignites the fire, but the drive
it's
is
what
what keeps it
keeps you
burning,
going.
right?
Yep, it's what
Because
keeps you going.
because I talk about this and I see so much on social media that has definitely inspired me. But the motivation is what starts the journey, and then that consistency, right,
Hmm. Yep.
is what keeps you going. Because when the
Yeah.
motivation isn't there, the fact that you have a routine is what wakes you up. To the point that when I don't get a workout in, I don't feel myself, right?
Hmm.
My
Hmm.
energy level is different, but you gotta start somewhere. And then once you can get past just the motivation to do it and can get to the drive for something bigger, right?
Yeah.
Something more than just wanting to look a certain way, which I think that's a good segue into something I'm positive both of us feel passionate about. New Year resolutions aren't often specific enough.
Hmm.
So, we want to lose weight, but how much? How are we going to do it? What's the timeline that we want to focus on? And so, because it's not specific, then it's not as realistic,
Yeah.
right? Because if it's
Right.
vague, then how exactly are you navigating that? It's harder to create a framework for yourself to move forward. And again, and I know one way that we differ a little bit is I don't focus as much on weight as I focus on healthy lifestyles.
Yeah.
um and so even when the weight isn't coming off like you want to, it's still important to exercise, right?
For sure.
And
For
so
sure.
that's the difference between that motivation and that drive, right?
Hmm.
So I like, what are your thoughts on that? How do you get your clients to a more sustainable approach as far as being specific with their goals?
Yeah. So it goes back to their why.
Mhm.
It goes back to their why, and you kind of talked about that a little bit. Like they want to, we think of the short-term goals. I want to lose weight so I can fit into this dress. I want to do. Um, I want to be able to be a part of a fitness group and do amazing things and build stamina. Um, those are all short-term goals in comparison to the goals that are going to help you to be driven. That is, something along the lines of somebody my age saying, I want to be as well as great, as much of the best shape that I can possibly be so that I can exercise and run around and play with my grandkids or my great grandkids. I want to live long enough to see my great grandkids.
Right.
You know, that is a driven oriented goal.
Mhm.
So understanding where my clients are coming from and what their why is,
Mhm.
right? So that could be I need to get off of this medication. I need to do I need to eat healthier so I can get off of this medication or reduce my medication. I need to be able to walk better, improve my knees or strengthen my knees. It could be a number of different things. One thing that we do is we sit down, we discuss those, and then we just say, okay, what's the timeline look like? So I'm not sure if you've heard of it. I feel like you have. Being in the medical
Mhm.
field, SMART
Yeah.
goals, um, specific, measurable, attainable,
Realistic.
realistic, and timely, and it really goes back to that. I used to hate doing SMART goals because for me, it was like one of those things like, I'll just do whatever I can.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I realized how helpful and how beneficial it is for not only myself, but also for my clients and helping them to reach their goals that they want to attain.
Yeah, and SMART
Hmm.
goals, you know, and there are a lot of different modifications of the SMART goal out there, and some people, you know, sort of change the meaning of the individual words. But
Yeah.
again, you know, when you set a SMART goal, you are setting your intention. So no matter how you get to that endpoint, and if you use a fancy acronym, right? The
Yeah.
point is that you are dialing in for what your true aspirations are, and what that, again, you know, getting you from the motivation, which, you know, looking a certain way, feeling a certain way is that initial motivation. But then what's that drive that's gonna,
Hmm.
you know, get you to the finish line? And you know, from my perspective, when I'm working with patients or thinking about building out programming for, you know, beyond clinic walls wellness with clients, is how holistic is that approach? And that's why the SMART goal comes into place, because if you're not thinking about all aspects of your life, which oftentimes New Year resolutions are sort of singular statements that don't factor in the totality of who we are.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, my life as a physician, when you have, you know, 15 minutes with someone, is impactful, but it takes more participation overall from the patient, right? Multiple appointments and doing those things at home. And that's a lot of why I started Beyond Clinic Walls Wellness, because, you know, when that motivation isn't there, right? What are we doing at home to kind of stay on track when the doctor isn't there? I tell people all the time, I don't live with you,
Yeah.
right? And also, it's not whenever you're trying to achieve some certain goal, it's not because of what people can see you do, right? It's about that connection that you have with yourself and that goal that you want to attain. But if you want to feel better and improve your blood pressure and get off medications, you also have to factor in the stress of your job, the stress
Hmm.
of your home life, or, you know, that might look like how many children you have, the age of those children, responsibilities that you might have in the community. And so that's why I say some so-called resolutions don't factor in what people are really up against. You
Hmm.
have this
Hmm.
goal without it being smart, right? So, and if it's not smart and specific to who you are as an individual, then it's going to be hard to, you know, stay on top of it
Yeah.
for sure.
And that actually goes into one of my points on why New Year's resolutions suck. You know, one point that I have is that we are, you know, the new me, new year, new me thing. It's not true, because if it's a new year, you're doing the same patterns, right? And with the same patterns come the same problems, the same resolutions, and the same downfalls that you have in trying to achieve those resolutions. Now, the best way to achieve those goals and to achieve those resolutions is by, you know, one thing that I'm revolving around this year, 2024, is to get uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And that means by doing something new, doing something that puts you outside of the box. For me, this right here, Instagram Live,
Out
this is new.
of the
I don't
box,
do much of
right?
this.
But
so,
both
so this
of us,
is all
I
new for
really
me.
haven't done a lot of lives, but
Right.
look at us starting the new year, getting
We're starting the new year off, and we're starting it off pretty well. So, um, you know, so I think that doing something new is something that's actually going to be helpful in breaking those patterns,
Mhm.
right? So we have to break those patterns that we find ourselves going back to, because those are our comfort zones.
Yeah.
We have to get out of that, because that is where you're going to find weight loss or the success in whatever. It doesn't have to be about health. It could be, you know, financial goals. It could be about financial freedom or business or career goals. Whatever it is in life, you have to break out of that box that you find yourself in order to grow and to expand.
Yeah.
So,
No, honestly, I always had mixed feelings, even though that whole New Year, New Me thing had me in a chokehold at one point too. I'm not gonna
yeah.
lie. I had to meditate on that and be delivered. Thank you, God, for delivering me. But what I can say is what people say and what people mean aren't always the same. I don't
Very true.
think any of us needs to be a new person. Who we are is unique and special. But what is important is that we continue to evolve,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it's new year better me, or new year improved me.
Improved. Yeah.
New year striving to be the best person I can be, going beyond my comfort zone,
Absolutely.
going beyond everything that I could have imagined for myself, right?
Yeah.
And in all actualities, that's what your business model is built on. You're
Yeah.
building your temple,
Yeah.
right? You're
Temple building. Yeah.
bridging the gap between your body, physical body, and your spiritual body, right? And
Absolutely.
so similarly, my business model is about taking what you're learning in the clinic and going beyond that, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
digging deeper, and that's why I thought it was important for us to get on here and have this conversation,
Yeah.
because I think we have parallel conversations related to these things. And I think another part of that, breaking the habits that you discussed, is also discipline, and what discipline might look like in our lives, and without wanting to get uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
That's when we're not able to find that level of discipline that we need. But I think you would agree that it can start with small
Baby
changes.
steps. Baby steps. And that, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So being consistent, there's a study that's out there that people that just went out to walk for 5 minutes a day, or 11, it was 11 minutes rather. People that went out to walk 11 minutes a day for 7 days a week, they saw great results in comparison to somebody that went to the gym for, I believe it was 2 days a week, right? It's about the consistency. It doesn't have to be a long time. Make the time. You mentioned, our lifestyles, our home life, our work life, all of those things come into play. And not everybody has a convenient lifestyle where we can just go out and do
Exactly.
everything, right?
Yep.
But we have to take advantage of the time that we do have. So whether that is 5 minutes, whether that is 30 minutes, an hour, 45 minutes, 20 minutes,
Yep.
whatever time you have available, take that time to put it towards whatever goals you have
Yep.
for yourself, whether that's for your fitness goals, whether that's for your health goals, wherever that is, your career goals, wherever you find yourself in as far as like with the patterns that you want to, not the patterns, but the habits you want to develop over the new year, you have to take that time and make the time rather in order to achieve those goals.
And
Yeah.
I'm not saying this, making this comment saying that like we're gonna wrap it up, but I think a good summation as far as like why New Year's resolutions suck is, who said that you need to wait till the new calendar year to improve it,
Start now.
right?
Start now.
You
That's another thing I
start
tell everybody.
wherever you are, and whenever you have that motivation, right, to do it. And I think that by itself puts us in a box, because
Hmm.
again, truth be told, my new year don't start on January 1st. My new year starts June 12th. Okay. That's my birthday. I
Oh, okay.
so y'all can keep the calendar, okay? Cause I have my goals set for my birthday.
That is very true. That is very true. Oh man.
I have 6 more months to do what it was that I wanted to accomplish this year. So I hope you January babies are ready for your
Yeah.
new year.
No.
But all jokes aside, like seriously, I think that mentality is, how often do you hear people say, I'm gonna start on Monday?
Right.
Right?
Right.
And now, do I think that preparation is important? Most definitely.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
There are still small things that you can do that kind of get the ball rolling for your
Yeah.
preparation. And that can start wherever you are, whenever you are. It doesn't matter if you're on vacation, right?
Mhm.
And again, that 5 minutes. There's a similar study that shows 5 minutes a break once an hour while you're at work can dramatically improve
Your performance.
different outcomes like blood pressure, cognition, right? And so I'm constantly telling people that job ain't paying you for that lunch break.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take it, please.
Yeah. For
Please.
sure. For sure. And
Oh,
I just want to add. I just want to add that one thing that bothered. It's not that it bothers me. Well, yeah, I guess it does bother me. Is that the things that we want to achieve, we don't view them as a priority, although they are a priority.
right. Tell me
You know?
pound on that.
Yeah. So here's what I mean by that. We want to achieve our goals and being healthy, but there's no sense of urgency.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that our sense of urgency is what wakes us up to say, okay, I got to make a change now instead of doing it, when we thought about it way in the past, right? So it is that negative report that we get from the doctor. It is the scale going up and finding out that we became a diabetic. It is, finding out that, I'm prone to receiving a disease or autoimmune disease or something along those lines.
Yeah.
All of those things are the things that we, are urgent, and they become a priority for us to take care of, because there's no preparation when it comes to that. It's like, okay, Cliff, you just got this disease, you got to do X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no thought, there's no finances about it. We do the same thing with our phones, right? If I drop my phone in the toilet, guess what? I'm gonna have a toilet. Not a toilet. I'm gonna have a new phone.
Immediately, right? You're gonna stick that thing in rice. You're gonna
Yep.
hold that you can try
Yep.
by the morning.
And if it doesn't work, guess what I'm gonna have by the end of the week? A new phone, right? And so we treat our phone better than we treat our own health. We'll put more $600, $800 toward a new phone before we put it towards our health. So these are some things that we have to flip our priorities in order to recognize that our health is important. Our goals that we want to achieve, whether they're financial, career, wherever they are in our lives, those are more of a priority than it is when it is, a phone, right? So
is, if we really took the time to be honest with ourselves, we would recognize that the things that we hold precious, we only get one body, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
What we're doing today truly is urgent.
Yeah.
Because like you said, finances don't matter, time doesn't matter when you need a new phone, right? Or when that thing is more urgent. But like I mentioned earlier, everything is holistic, right? If we took the time to pay more attention to our health now, right, we are decreasing our financial burden in our golden years, right? If you work your body to the bone in your 30s, 40s, and 50s because you're just trying to make it to retirement, and then you're 65 and your back is tore up, your mental health is in disarray, you have high blood pressure because of the stress that you were so big on overtime that you didn't take the time to move your body in ways that worked for you, then now you're spending that money and time that you worked so hard for on your health now. So it's, they're just different ways to think about it. And that's why we both created our platforms to hopefully help be the match that then leads into a long burn in people.
Absolutely.
We want
Yeah.
to help people find that long burn. Somebody give us a heart if you want a long burn.
Give us a fire emoji. That's what we need.
A heart, a thumbs up, because tomorrow isn't promised. So we have to start today. That's another reason why, you know, I'm not the biggest with New Year resolutions, because, you know, I want to be better next week. I don't want to wait until the next
The new year. Yeah,
year.
yeah. Yeah. And we're, you know, the motto, excuse me, not model, but the motto for Temple Builders is to that you're still under construction, meaning that we're always a continuous work in progress, and it's in alignment with our spiritual walk, you know, our fitness walk, our health and fitness walk, our spiritual walk, our daily walk in life. That we're still a work in progress. We are still, you know, God is still working on us, so that nothing's ever promised, right? And we should go out every day to live it to the fullest, you know, by doing something that was actually going to be beneficial to us through our health and wellness, do something that's going to be beneficial to us in our spiritual life, doing something that's also going to be beneficial to others in their connection to us, you know, whether they see God through us, whether they see the example that we're living in our lives, so that they can do the same thing for the people that they know, you know. And that's what I do through Temple Builders, that I hope I'm exemplifying that through through the clients that I work with, through the people that I do my work with, that we are always a work in progress. I'm a continuous work in progress. And it's not to say that anybody is perfect. So this is, you know, it's all to remind ourselves that we are all a work in progress, and every day is a new day for us to just try something new. If you took a breath this morning, if you're taking a breath right now, that means God's not done with you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So
Yeah. So,
how do we set? Do you have some things lined up for the new year that we should share?
Man, I'm definitely going to be doing more things for myself, as far as like on a business standpoint through Temple Builders. I I did some reflecting over 2023, and I actually achieved a good amount of my goals for my business wise.
Sometimes I think we sell ourselves short, but we
Yeah.
really go back and appraise what we've done. You find out like, oh, I did more than I thought I did.
I did more than I thought I did. I did more than I thought I did, and I credit a lot of people, including my wife, for that. So, but along with that, as far as this year goes, doing a little bit more of the same as far as growth, but also one thing, and most importantly, is I want to be able to show my face more on social media and doing things like this. So I appreciate you for getting me out my comfort zone in that sense. I know that this isn't something that you're familiar with either, but I'm glad we're doing this together. And, you know, I see we should do another cooking class. I haven't done that in a while. So, you know, yeah, maybe we could do some more things. I know Dr. Constance, rather, you've been helpful with me with some of the workshops that we've done in the past together through Temple Builders. So, you know, I want to do some things there. But what about you? What are some goals for you?
So I definitely have a few things lined up that I'm excited about. I do have a health education course called the Makeover, which is available for people to do. That focuses on all things metabolic syndrome, which not everybody knows exactly what that means, but the metabolic syndrome comprises high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, so pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes, and those people with higher weight. And I talk about how do doctors define that, right? How do you monitor those things for yourself at home? And then what are some of the things that an individual can do to improve their blood pressure, improve their cholesterol, improve their blood sugar without solely relying on the physician and prescription medications. Because although I'm a physician, I don't want all of my patients to be on medications if I can prevent it. So,
Yeah, exactly.
um,
Exactly.
so like that's an option. I'm excited. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing a webinar for Seeds of Healing, Incorporated, the nonprofit here in Wilmington. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll be talking about healthy living. I'm also doing a webinar for another nonprofit called Safe Haven of Pender County. So I'm looking forward to that as well, and just continuing to get the opportunity to meet people where they are, to be their healthiest self. So I'm looking forward to other opportunities to serve the community and encourage healthy living that supports a happy life. I think a lot of times people feel that they have to sacrifice their happiness and be miserable to be healthy, and that's not true. Little steps at a time can get you there, and you don't have to change as much as you think to start seeing those results. And myself and Cliff can definitely tell you what that looks like and support you along that journey. So those of you, I did see a new follow, so thank you. I appreciate that. I think it was Keisha. So thank you for the follow if you're still here. But yeah, so yeah, and more things like this too. I have a podcast that I'm continuing to grow, more collaborations with other businesses, more collaboration with like-minded people, more uplifting, because y'all, this even when it's your calling doesn't make it easier. So you
Not at all.
you
I think
still
it makes it tougher actually because you know.
because when it's your calling, you have that drive, right? So even when you're there, you keep pushing because you know what God asked you to do, and you're like, okay, are you sure? Okay, I guess. So you know,
You'd be like, all right, well, I guess this is the way I'll go. Just
it's okay, I'll listen. Which, again, guys, that's taken. I'm sure I'll speak for myself, but it's taken me a while to learn how to listen. So sometimes it's just relinquishing more of yourself to let your calling come out. But yeah, so I'm fired up. My word for the year is refocus, actually.
I love it.
So it's refocusing on my calling, refocusing on my own personal health, refocusing on family, and I'm getting married this year. So it's just it's a lot in store, but I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation as far as the wedding preparations.
Yeah, tell me about
it. Yeah, we won't dive that deep. But no, that's all good stuff. I'm right there with you. You know, it's truly, you know, I feel grateful to be in the position that I'm in, and I know you are as well. Just to be able to accept your calling and know where it's brought you to and from, and knowing the story behind it and how you got here. You know, and it's always amazing to not only see where you are, but to see where you came from, but also to just see where you're headed as well. So, you know, this was a great conversation. I really enjoyed this.
Does anybody have anything they
want to share? I was just about to ask the same thing. Any questions? Anybody have any feedback questions?
Here and Melissa Stam and 4Chameleon6. Thank y'all for joining the chat, and definitely saw some comments like Bryn B, that's me. I like that name. Yes, physical health, mental health, financial health, it all should be a priority, but you know, certainly truth is. And look, we could probably start a live series just on some of our thoughts on some of these things, because it's not as simple as we make it seem.
It's not easy.
On some things, we understand that it's not, and
Yeah,
that's why
definitely.
to have these conversations and, you know, be realistic about how we approach these things, because everything is so interconnected. Even how our communities are structured, right, are going to impact our ability to maintain physical health, maintain mental health, maintain financial health. But the more of us that are having those conversations, the better we have the opportunity to change things.
Yeah, definitely.
The more we have these conversations, the more we band together as like-minded individuals to positively impact the things that we see in our community. Look, if somebody got some land out there, let me know. We could build our commune and just have a living neighborhood where
Yeah,
we
we
all
gotta do
share
something.
recipes and watch each other's children. Let me know.
Yeah.
Hit up, DM me if you're interested. I got 5 on it. So if y'all wanted to,
Five what? $5? 5,500?
it depends on how much time we got. Or maybe
Oh man, that's hilarious. No, I totally agree. That's one reason why I started Temple Builders, because of especially growing up in the church, seeing all the things that I've seen through the church, and um, going to so many different funerals, and seeing people pass away from different diseases, and my biggest trigger was like,
disease
say that again.
often. I
Oh yeah.
said and preventable diseases
Yeah,
often.
yeah. And my biggest trigger was when my grandmother had passed away. And right after her funeral, it was fried chicken, green beans, collard greens, or what, all the foods, the soul food. And I'm like, okay, we just celebrated this person's death, but we're killing ourselves by eating the food that,
Yeah,
is potentially, that's threatening God lives. So,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah, so that was,
different ways to think about that too, because you know, I totally agree that we have to be mindful of the things that we eat, but again, providing that balance, right? You know, everyone's journey isn't the same, and everyone has a different cross to bear, right? And
yeah, yeah.
and what I'm proud of, it's taken some time, but especially in the Black church, because I grew up AME, not Amy Zion like you,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
you see a lot more baked chicken and fried chicken. You see, and I think that's appropriate, because
Yeah, it is.
maybe maybe this church event is my treat meal day.
Yeah, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
I think, oh man, I'm about to get on my vent box. Dang
I
it.
know.
Um,
Let's save a little bit. Let's save
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
we'll save
come
it.
back and do like another, because I feel myself doing the same thing. Like they said, oh, I'm about to preach now. But like,
Yeah, no. We're not getting that
already
far.
gave the sermon. Let's go ahead and cruise into the benediction. Let's not
Yeah.
let's not keep people too
Oh,
long.
oh man, no, that was good stuff. So, man, so yeah, this is definitely something that we will continue to do moving forward. Hope that you all enjoyed it. Those that are here, for those that may have just joined, feel free to please shoot us some inboxes of like some topics or questions that you may have in mind that you would like to see to be discussed and things like that. We would love to have something so that we could just bring that here to the table for some open discussion, for some open dialogue. So feel free to hit us up. Constance, you want to provide them with your contact information? Of course, they have you here on Instagram, but anything else that you want to have them reach out to you about?
Instagram and Facebook, Beyond Clinic Walls Wellness. Email info at Beyond Clinic Walls Wellness. So I know it's a mouthful, but it was the name was created for a reason. So yeah, any of that works. I have a podcast, Munch and Learn with Dr. Constance, that you can check out. So if you go to the link in my bio, you can see all of that, as well as the link to enroll in my self-guided health education course.
Cool. And you can always check me out. Of course, I'm on Instagram at TB Fitman, Facebook TB Fitness, Temple Builders Fitness Ministry. You can find me there. And then I also have my website, which is the link is in the bio. But if you're not on Instagram for whatever reason, TB T is in Tom, B is in boy, fitmen.com. I'm always looking for clients or consultations or anything like that that I can help with you as far as your health and wellness goals. I also do partnerships and work with churches to provide them with health and wellness programs and workshops and fitness programs as well. So if that is something that you may be interested in, whether in person or online, that's something that I'm always willing to help you out with. So Dr. Constance, it was a pleasure. I'm glad that we could make this happen. Let's do it again.
For sure. Bye, y'all.
Yeah. All right, now. Have a good one. See you all next time. Bye.